Welcome to the Duncan Trussell family. I will kill the vampire in your life.
You know, honestly, I don't know if you remember, but my sense of humor is so weird, and like I know I can think of thousands of times where I walked up to someone and without, they didn't know me, and I just like said something I thought was hilarious, just to like out of boredom. And that's fucking the key to a lot of my behavior, is like out of boredom, to entertain myself. I said something off the cuff that they just were not able to interpret. I realized, like, there's thousands of people that I've encountered in my life that will always probably think of me as just like a raging psychotic asshole, just because I was trying to entertain myself with some sort of stream of consciousness banter or something. I don't know. Can you relate to that on any level?
Yeah. Well, look, yeah, and like, like, this is the thing. People will, once you start thinking about, man, I want to fucking I want the world to be a good place. Or once you start having, like, you start giving yourself you start indulging yourself with the joy of having lofty ideas about evolving yourself. And if you can evolve yourself, maybe it'll spread to the rest of the species, or maybe you could be part of an acceleration and evolution that's happening all over the planet right now, and you can really tune into it and become part of that. You start entertaining these ideas and experimenting with them, and then you begin to actually see, holy shit, this isn't bullshit. These ideas really work. Something's happening, and like, you begin to feel authentically happy again. Well, that's when it's easy to get into this place where you think, oh, see, now I can't be an asshole. Now I can't, in other words, you start thinking, oh, my behavior, therefore, should always be good, and everyone I'm around feels great, and I'm always just spreading that joy and love, and everyone's just getting a spark of my love and happiness, and they're just growing and growing and growing. It is not that. It is not that. It's not that. It's fuck, man. You have to give yourself permission to be that asshole. You have to give yourself permission to have the courage to be that fucking thing. And that, I think that's probably the difference between you and maybe some people, is that, there's this lucidity to you and the stuff that you're doing that I haven't really run into in a lot of people ever. And so when you're doing these things, it's very painful to you. You're kind of like when, you're like Raskolnikov or something, right? You're experiencing this kind of fever, and you're aware of the fever coming over you. And you're watching yourself go through the seizures, and it's hard, it fucks with your head because you don't know why you're doing it. But I don't think this is a mark of, I think it's just part of being lucid. And I do that shit. I'm trying to think the last time I really fucking... I'm trying to think the last time I was doing, like, shitty things. I mean, I could always feel it when the fucking seizure kicks in, when the ego seizure happens, or... Where was I? I was, like, in an audition or something, and, like, they were running, like, maybe 20 minutes late. And I feel the ego seizure come in. I don't have to be anywhere, man. There's nowhere for me to be. It's air conditioned in there. It's relatively comfortable. It sucks to be around actors, but it's not that bad. They're kind of interesting. They wear these little leather boot shoes and talk about their New York apartments and stuff, and it's kind of annoying. But, like, I was sitting there, and the ego seizure kicks in, and all of a sudden there's this part of me, this indignant part of me that's like, you know what? This is an outrage. This is outrageous. Why am I having to wait? We shouldn't have to wait. Why don't they have their shit together? I mean, what if I had something to do? What if I had something? That's what my ego did. It's like, what if I had something? I don't have anything to do. My ego's like, yeah, but what if you did? And so then I'm starting to get pissed, and I didn't react to it. I just sat there and let the thing have its fit, like a child having a tantrum, and it dissipated and went away. But sometimes I don't control the child. The beast controls me, and the beast comes out. When the beast comes out, you'll find yourself in the middle of the dumbest fight you've ever gotten in, or not a dumb fight. You'll find yourself in a fight that's really smart, and you'll all of a sudden watch. Now you're the toddler sitting in the middle of this fucking iron monster, this beast, and you're just a little baby sitting there looking up through the slit eye hole of this thing as it just ransacks a friend or someone that you love by saying cruel and awful things to them. And you're just watching it happen, and you're like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this?
I totally, I totally ask myself why it's necessary to follow that compulsive part of yourself that knows you're trying to hurt someone. Like because your brain tells you it's going to feel good to do it,
Yeah, and it does feel good. And like, to try to pretend that it doesn't feel good, you're a liar and a coward. It feels great. I'm sure when people used to fucking duel with each other, it probably felt great to feel that fucking sword pierce through the heart of your enemy. It feels good momentarily to, and when you're in an argument with someone, or you find yourself saying hurtful things, whether it's to someone you're dating, or whether it's to a waiter, or whether it's to someone in a cab, or whether it's to someone at your work, you really are running a sword through their ego. You're like piercing their ego. You're cutting their ego. You're finding a place that they're obscuring from themselves, and you're trying to hit it. And you're not doing it because you want them to grow. You're doing it because you want them to sting. And the thing is, that feeling of wanting someone to hurt, it's unsustainable. That's the problem. It's like 30 minutes later, or 2 days later, or a month later, it's gonna go away. And then all that's gonna be left is this feeling of like, I really, really, really wish I didn't do that.
If you didn't record this, if it's had a malfunction along the past hour or so, I'm gonna take a lot of pleasure in slapping your face.
Hold on.